clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here. How would you like to have more joy and passion in your life? Maybe more motivation? I was working with a client that wanted exactly that. They felt that they'd got themselves in a bit of a rut, a bit of a routine, and what they were missing is the real joy and passion to go about things with a whole new intensity. And this hypnosis session helps them to do that, to reconnect with times in their past where they really felt that joy, that passion, that motivation, and then future pace it into their current life and their situation. And I think a lot of people can get into certain routines, they can get into certain habits, and it can feel weird to get enthusiastic or excited or joyful about doing something you've done a million times before. But the best in the world access that passion, they access that feeling of enthusiasm and just a desire to do it. You know, it should be that certain artists, when they've done 200 paintings, they've probably done it at that point, and yet they don't. They've got that insatiable passion. And you can look at people in business, you know, they might have bought and sold several businesses, and yet they're still really eager to do the next one. So if you feel like you want more joy and passion in your life, this could be a really good session. Just be aware that it was created for an individual, therefore some of the suggestions are going to be ideal for the client I was working with and not so right for you, because I did it for them and not you. I didn't know you'd be listening to this. So if you do like the idea of a bespoke session, or to work with me directly, have a look in the description. You might find lots of free stuff there, free downloads, free courses, but also a link to book a free consultation call. And that way we can have a chat just to see if I'm the right hypnotherapist to work with you. And I can answer any questions you have and explain my processes and prices and all of that kind of stuff. But for now, you've got a hypnosis session to listen to. So find a quiet, comfortable place where you're not going to be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in that feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, feel that feeling of looseness and calmness, as if all responsibilities are somewhere else. And as you breathe in deeper. And as you exhale, exhale for longer, allowing each breath to take you deeper and deeper relaxed. The deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you become. And the more relaxed you become, the deeper you breathe. And I want you to imagine that if happiness had a color, what color would it be? And just imagine breathing in that bright color of happiness. And as you exhale, feel that you're releasing any burdens, any fatigue, any tiredness. And as you breathe in that happiness, feel yourself getting lighter and more relaxed. And as you breathe out, feel like you're letting go. Anything stressful, anything that feels like a big responsibility. Because you can take responsibility without feeling that responsibility. And you know from your past that when you feel happy and light and energized, you're able to take your responsibilities more than ever before. So as you breathe in that happiness and exhale that stress, feel your body sinking into a place where your imagination is awakened and reality seems far away. And I want you to think of a time in Mexico when you felt light and free. And as you allow yourself to settle even more comfortably, imagine yourself once again in Mexico. A particular place, a place where you felt like you. And maybe you can imagine sunshine on your skin, or perhaps a breeze, or maybe it's a smell or a sound that makes you feel what you would feel like back there. And I want you to recall a time when you were just relaxing, maybe on a sun lounger by a pool or a hammock there by the beach. And I want you to take yourself back to that place, a place where you felt more connected with nature, with people, and with yourself. Perhaps you could imagine hearing laughter in the distance, and maybe music. I want you to tune in to the vibration and the energy of that place. And I want you to imagine that science experiment, that if there's a tuning fork set to one frequency and another tuning fork with the same frequency, then when you make the first tuning fork start to vibrate, the second does it all by itself. But only when both tuning forks have the same frequency. And as you imagine yourself there in Mexico, I want you to feel that your internal tuning fork is being recalibrated so that the energy that you're surrounded by, that free, mindful, connected vibration, starts to vibrate within you. And I want you to feel that that frequency is blending with the rhythm of the waves as you start to reawaken that part, that place where you feel lighter, freer, and more connected. And now I want you to imagine, almost like dreaming there on that beach or by that pool, that you're now connecting with people. Maybe that's just smiling at a stranger, having a conversation, laughing and joking. But I want you to feel that even a conversation can awaken this vibration. Even a smile, eye contact, can awaken this vibration. I want you to get a feeling that what if it isn't the place that causes this vibration and this frequency? What if it just is a place where you're giving yourself permission to feel this way? And as your breathing slows and your body relaxes even more, I want you to feel that this is a moment where your neural pathways were connecting you with joy. With each sound around you, each breath you take in that warm Mexican air, allow yourself to go deeper inward and feel even more present, alert to the richness of connection and possibility. And notice how easy it is to relax here. But the relaxation doesn't make you feel tired or sleepy. I want you to feel your energy rising, as if your cup is being filled and your soul itself is being replenished. That's it. And from that place, you may remember times when energy felt low, when motivation seemed far away. But beneath all of that, there was always a part of you trying to guide you back to something deeper. And what if that deeper part has always been pointing you toward what you truly crave? Joy, connection, vitality, presence, and love. And these words aren't just words. These are what you value. These are what you're doing everything for. And as you tune into this now, feel that limitation of those times when you're lethargic or tired, exhausted, or beat down, transforming into a doorway. And any funk or heaviness, any fatigue, it softens, dissolving into a higher vibration that lifts you up higher, where you become the version of yourself that is naturally enthusiastic, charismatic, motivated, fun, and also light. There is no heaviness to that version of you that feels that way. And notice as you imagine being with not strangers, but people you truly like, close friends, family, companions, or perhaps just people on that frequency, the same frequency when you feel joy. And in those times where there is laughter, eye contact, a feeling of just going with the flow, and in that flow is where you feel alive. And what if every smile you see multiplies your own smile within, and every laugh that you hear amplifies your joy, and you increase that sensory acuity to notice that when you're around several people at that frequency, the combined energy of the group, including what you contribute, fills you. And not just activates, but amplifies that resourceful, radiant state you love so much. And you realize this is more than just feeling good. I want you to decide that this is your natural state when you connect, share, and allow yourself to be present. And I want you to scan within you where you feel that joy, that happiness. And when you feel that happiness, notice what that brings you. And whatever that brings you, what does that bring you? And each ripple outwards enhances more of what you truly crave. Just to feel happy and joyful, connected and present. And while you imagine being in that dreamlike sleep by the pool or the beach, I want you to imagine your future self. Because what if it's not just possible to feel this way when you're traveling or in the early stages of that relationship? I want you to imagine seeing your future self, maybe a week, a month, or even a year from now, looking energized, motivated, and oozing joy. I want you to see yourself living a life where that happiness and enthusiasm are not occasional visitors, but your natural state, like permanent companions. And maybe you see yourself in a work environment where things are stressful, but I want you to see that joyful spirit anyway, and notice that you can still handle your responsibilities in that frequency. And what if you being in that frequency puts other people in that frequency too? And therefore, you're charging each other. And what if multiple people are in that frequency, dealing with that time? Maybe the work feels a little less like work and more like an adventure, a challenge, something you get to do, not something you have to do. Or maybe you see yourself using social time as a way to recharge and refill that cup without needing to travel. And there's so many ways to create those social connections. Maybe it's catching up with a friend, or maybe doing something with other like-minded people. Maybe it's a group class, learning something new. But notice that when you do that in person, it charges you up faster than if things are done virtually. And then see yourself in a home environment. And I want you to see what things can happen there when you feel this way, but also when you don't and get to feel that way. Because if your natural state is this joyful, happy, light, connected feeling, I want you to feel that you are increasing your resilience. There are lots of animals that protect who they really are. That might be with thick skin like a rhino, or a shell of a turtle. I want your unconscious to feel that when you're in this state, happy, joyful, connected, your unconscious is making it difficult for you to lose this state. I want you to activate that feeling of tenacity that you've accessed so often. But what if that tenacity can now be deployed to help you be tenacious at keeping this state? Because you've had times when you were in a great mood and nobody could shake that. Nobody could make you feel anything other than that, even if they tried. So imagine that skill working with this incredibly resourceful state, so that when you feel it for longer, and when you don't, your intuition will inspire you to do something to reawaken and reactivate it quickly. Because even now your mind and body are learning that joy is a core state that recharges you. And it's too important just to happen on the occasional vacation, because it's a core state. It is who you are at your core. Connection is a natural amplifier of all of your other resources and all of your other capabilities. The more joy you feel and the more connected you feel, the more impactful and fulfilled you will be. And whenever you choose, you can step back into this flow. And as you breathe that in now, let your unconscious mind continue to ripple these states into every area of your life. Imagine yourself driving with joy, eating with joy, feeling more connected with people that you communicate with. Amplify it all. And as you return to that place in Mexico, feel that you're going to take that feeling back with you into the here and now. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Connect and calibrate into the here and the now, as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of The Hypnotist. And if you've got some value from this episode, I'd like to ask a favor. And that is that all of the platforms have some way of you telling us that you like it. And that might be hitting the like button, that might be giving it a 5-star rating or a short review. And if it's possible, and it is on Spotify and YouTube, if you can drop a comment with what value you got from the show or anything you liked in particular, that really helps the algorithm to put it in front of new people. Thank you so much again for joining me on this episode, and I'll see you again soon in the next one.